the Nist report, National Institute of Standards and Technology, they were mandated by Congress to determine why and how the towers collapsed. They didn't do that. Instead, they build a computer model and did a hypothetical scenario. They didn't analyze the collapse. They just, this hypothetical thing. Then they listed an inventory of the steel that went into the building, and this type of steel, that type of steel, and lots of data.
Right.
But they ignored the data and just had this hypothetical model. Well, the outfit that did the hypothetical modeling, they're the outfit that had the most number of contractors hired onto of any of the contractors, the most number of employees on the Nist report. This is an organization that is part of the military-industrial complex, but their areas of expertise, PSYOP, as well as development and manufacturing of energy weapons. They also held and still, I believe, hold a contract with the U.S. government to know everything about any weapon of mass destruction that exists or is being developed anywhere.
Wow.
So they not only can identify what technology, but whose technology, who owns that particular, gizmo.
Right. And so they are definitely complicit, at least, in a cover.
Well, even if they're out to lunch and just compartmentalization, you can excuse it too. But wouldn't it have been nice to have them under oath and ask them some questions?
Right.
Those are the ones that I was the most interested in asking questions. That's Applied Research Associates.
And is that who you sued for fraud?
Well, all of them. But it's more difficult to sue a government agency. But contractors, no, that's whistleblowing.
Yeah.
These contractors generated a fake scenario. And then also Science Application International Corporation, SAIC, typed up the report. And you know what their expertise is? PSYOP.
Wow.
They also supervised the site during the cleanup from immediately afterwards and onward. So they obviously knew of all this dirt that was coming and going. And it'd be nice to have asked them questions about that. Where did this idea come from that you needed to bring in fresh dirt, dump it down, stir it around, scoop it back up, take it out, bring in new dirt. And also that Nist acknowledged to me they did not analyze the collapse. I was the first person to bring that to their attention. They didn't, they can't call it a collapse if they didn't analyze it.
True.
And I said, well, this tipping top of Tower 2 violates the laws of physics if that falls as a rigid body, if that's a rigid body and it didn't turn to dust in midair. Because if they were claiming, an airplane hit it and damaged it at, 35 stories below the top, then why is the top disintegrating? And so that's another thing about that demonstrates it turned to dust. That if you have a rigid body rotating, it's going to keep rotating if it remains a rigid body due to the laws of conservation of angular momentum. But if it's not a rigid body, if each of the little particles in there starts rotating separately, it can maintain the laws of conservation of angular momentum and appear, from a distance to stop rotating because it's all turned to dust and each of the dust particles are rotating. But anyway, I brought this to the attention of Nist, and they said, it doesn't violate the laws of physics, because I said their analysis violated the laws of physics. And they said, because we didn't analyze the collapse. The building obeyed the laws of physics while it was standing. And that's as much as we analyzed. It was, it obeyed the laws of physics while it was standing, so, because the rest was a hypothetical scenario they brought about. It didn't relate to the collapse or the actual demise.